hugging, being close.
Right.
And this has just turned us like a 90-degree turn when it came down to having our families around us. The government was, I agree with the government, we should stay our distance, because I mean, I would hate to see myself give it to my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren.
100%.
Right? And I never get over that. I go to my death, or my death to say, okay, fine, you know.
Yeah, anything
I'm never
but,
gonna,
yeah,
anything but that.
100%.
You know?
Yeah. So you were a musician?
Yeah.
Bands?
Bands. I started out in school, high school, doing marching bands, and I decided to put a little something together with a couple of guys in the band, and we went out and started going to places like U of T, Ryerson, you know, all the frat houses, which was great, and that's when I met a lot of good people in the frat houses.
Yeah.
Like Danny Marks for one. I can go on with names. I don't want to bother with names. It's just the point of being a musician here. I had an opportunity to. They never closed the doors on us, because I mean, we were new, and it was kind of funny because, like I said, it wasn't a pure black band.
Right.
Okay, we were always mixed.
Yeah.
We had Indian, Northern Indian in us, in the band. We had Canadians, West Indians, so white. I mean, you know.
So you just had way too much fun.
Well, it was an experience.
You were too busy enjoying life to deal with, to be bothered with any of that negative stuff.
No, we didn't bother with that, because I mean, you had those people that were over there. And we entertained to people that, you know, looked at us and say, okay, you know, well, they're born like that.
Like they're happy to let you entertain them.
Right, exactly.
Even though they think like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So you must have had some what's some good names that you had for people like that?
Good names? Is there such a thing as good names for people like that?
No, not really. With me, it's rednecks and Lugans and a number of, you know.
I can go on with names, but it doesn't basically, in my defense, state that, you know, why should I bother talking about
Stoop to that level.
No, that's exactly.
Yeah,
I stoop to that
my
level.
hat's off to you then, because and you know what? I never ever did, and never liked. I couldn't. A bad name, a bad slur, would hurt me as much as it would hurt the person that it was being said to. If I heard somebody saying it to somebody. You know?
Right, exactly.
I don't know what it was, but my whole life was like that, and I'm grateful it was like that, because.
But like I said, in my case, I grew up with the Jewish people around me, and there were names that I've heard other people call, and I said, well, you know, you go ahead and call them what you want. I'm just wondering what you call me when my back is turned.
Yeah.
All right, but you know what I mean?
Of course, that's.
But like I said, in my case, it was an opener for me, like for the music. It was an eye opener for me, especially when we went to the States, where I see certain things that just kind of. I come back and I try to explain it to my father, and he told me, "Don't worry about it because you don't live there."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the whole thing of it is, it still got to the back of my head to say, why are they being persecuted like that, or why are they doing certain things like that?
Yeah, I know. I can't stand it either, and it's all. I believe it all comes back to capitalism.
You know,
people. George Carlin, I think, said it best, and that's the rich ones own the whole country.
Mm-hmm.
The middle class do all the work.
Mm-hmm.
And the poor people are there to scare the shit out of the middle class.
I guess so.
Yeah. So and so it's a tier system where everybody gets to look down on everybody, and like at the person at that level, and they always need someone at that level, and they generate that somehow. And everybody's not like that. And there's lots of good people in every.
Oh, there's tons of good people, and it's not the point I'm going to tell you to go and try to find them. They could be right in your own backyard.
Yeah, I've known lots of great people over the course of my life, and this pandemic really brought a lot of good people out, because the majority I find, I go to Food Basics or No Frills, and the lineups there, and everybody, hey, how are you doing? Not bad. And everybody's keeping their distance. Oh, excuse me. Or you come around the corner and somebody's like right there, and you back off a bit, and they're all really polite. Everybody's really neat thing. I really, it lets you see, okay, where are we going to end up? If the shit hit the fan, where would we end up? And we're seeing it.
Right now we are.
Yeah,
yes.
And I think that's a good thing.
Well, like being up here, like I said, I had other friends of mine from work telling me, why would you want to go up there because of all the Ophes that are up there. That was one of the names they used for
Ophes?
themselves. Oh, yeah, for themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
And I go, well, you know what? Let me tell you something. Wherever I go, I'm going to represent myself and my family, and I'm going to be respectful to them till they show me that they're not respectful to me.
Yeah, that's a good
right?
philosophy, yeah.
So when it comes down to it, I know to myself when I came up here, and the friendships I made up inside here are, I'm telling you, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like yourself, knowing a friend of mine that I've known for over 50 years.
Yeah,
All right, when we both started down in Cabbagetown in Toronto.
Henry, no?
That's correct.
Yeah, Henry's a good guy.
Right? We've known each other over 50 years.
He was
man.
your agent when you bought this house, wasn't he?
Yes.
Well, hey, this is a little call out to Henry McLean. He's a good agent. Somebody should give him a call right now.
Amen.
Yeah. Okay, well, I had to give Henry a plug. I love Henry too. He's a good guy.
He is the salt of the earth, if you want to call it that.
Professor Perch.
Yeah, that's Professor.
Professor Perch,
Yeah.
100%. Well, that's cool. I'm just trying. I'm trying to address. I'm thinking. I keep reading on Facebook and on different things because I do a lot of work on Facebook with putting my music and stuff out there. I've been really involved for the last 4 or 5 years, and so I'm getting into some of the Georgina sites. If it goes super negative, I type in. I'm going to back away slowly. That's what.
Okay.
That's what I type in.
Just being safe.
Yeah, I don't get into the nasty crap. I don't believe in it. Don't subscribe to it. And people want. There's no answering somebody who's. There's no arguing with somebody you disagree or that you disagree with. Why would you?
No.
I only argue with people I agree with. You know, in terms of okay.
Well, that make common sense also.
Yeah, make common sense. Yeah, people that make common sense, and you're having a common sense. Usually a disagreement about something that you agree on most of it, but there's some parts of it, whatever.
They call it a gray area.
A gray area. Yeah, I live in a gray area. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Right between the ears, gray matter.
That's it, the gray matter.
But I see on those pages where someone was in the parking lot, you know, and they got some redneck yelling slurs at them and stuff. I can't even. I've never heard of it, but I hear it, so it must happen. But it's got to be an isolated incident. So I don't know how to say. I don't know if it's an isolated incident. That's how naive I am about this stuff, because I choose not to see it. I guess maybe or whatever the deal is. So I don't know whether a lot of that goes on. You ever have any of that? People like stories out when you're out in the community, you know, somebody.
You mean here?
Yeah, here in Georgina. Well, I'm talking about here. That's
no, that's why I have to say that. Here, it's like I said. I mean,
I know.
I've had nothing but good things to say about the community. There's certain things. I mean, like you said, comes with the taxes. Well, there's nothing we can do about that.
So let me go down the list. So you know Margaret, right?
Margaret?
Yeah, the mayor.
Oh yes. Okay, yeah. I know of her. I never met the woman.
And you know Rob Grossi.
I met Grossi. Yes.
And you know John McLean.
Yes, I know him too.
And you know a whole bunch of people associated with the government of our town.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to be clear. We're not going to talk about them because I don't want to.
Well, I don't want to be putting any feathers in their caps because I mean, like I said, they're there to do a job.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when I look at it, they're not benefiting me because I mean, I'm not the new person up inside. I'm new boy on the block.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything for me in that sense.
Yeah.
I can go back and tell you about that little hill they built it over there. That there's a lot of politics in that. But
yeah. Well, there's lots of things that have happened, and I don't. There's lots they've done that was good. And
yes.
Lots they've done that I totally disagree with.
Yes.
And,
yes.
So. That's another podcast. That would be not.
Well, you'll have to wait for that one to come up.
Yeah, we'll wait for another podcast on that one.
Overall, you're asking me about me being up here, being black.
Yeah, that is the.
And my family being up here too, because my children live up here. One of my children live up here at Jackson's Point. And I raised them up here, and they all did very well.
Yeah.
They didn't really have to sit back and take note on the next person that's behind them or in front of them. They, you know, I've always told them, listen, you stand up. Being from Toronto, you know, we got a little bit of callous on us.
Yeah,
and you know, you don't take nothing from nobody. Like I told you when I said, my dad told me, you know, man slaps you, you slap him back.
Yeah, don't take no shit.
No, take no shit.
Yeah, that's your dad was smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, because that mentality tells you you're equal.
Correct.
Your dad would also tell you don't pick on anybody.
No.
Regardless of race.
No.
So that's the whole thing right there. But he didn't tell you, oh, don't make a fuss or let somebody, like they hit you, you hit them back.
Correct.
Yeah, so that makes total sense. I mean, so that's from a position of equality.
Well, especially if you were in the right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just put it out that way. If you were in the right,
Yeah.
you did nothing to provoke anybody to do this, and all of a sudden this person comes out of nowhere. You have to stand your guard.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, raised in the church, they used to tell you, if the man slaps you on one side of your face, you turn the other cheek.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, in our case, we don't turn the other cheek.
Yeah, my spirituality is not quite that deep, I have to say.
So when it comes down to it, I don't go to the point of trying to push it on anybody when
Right.
it comes down to who I am.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, I got some great friends up inside here.
Yeah.
The people I have met up in here, I've really had no person that's ever come up to me and told me, said the N word to me, because I
Yeah,
would have
or
said,
slurred you in any
no,
way.
no.
Good arguments from time to time about something you disagree on.
Well, if we disagree on something, we don't bring that up.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is, though, if it's nice that you can have a hell of an argument,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got nothing to do with being black or white,
Correct.
and you're disagreeing about something, and you're having a hell of an argument.
That's called constructive.
That's healthy.
That is
Yeah,
very healthy.
yeah, everybody's healthy in those circumstances.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's kind of neat. Okay, so then what we really need to talk about now then is fish in the Black River.
Oh my God, fish in the Black River.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, when I first, because I was, my first house was in Baldwin,
I
on the
remember.
Black River,
I remember.
and it was. I used to have the guys that come up from the city and enjoyed coming up and fish, and we had from anything from, I guess, catfish to smelt.
Oh yeah, they get up that far, right?
Oh, and they used to come up that far. The what killed the smelt was the goby.
Oh yeah.
They ate all their eggs and stuff like
Oh,
that,
yeah,
so
okay.
that stopped them from coming back up. So when the water rise, they would come back into the river system, right? Because if you see how it runs through,
Yeah,
and off the
I'm on there
fields.
now, and first thing in the spring, it's right up to the bank,
right?
and then right now you can see the bottom where they're just going through.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So yeah, there was all kinds of what do they call that? I'm just trying to think the other fish we used to catch down there. There were sunfish,
sunfish, carp.
carp. Yeah, there were carp down there. A lot
You ever
of carp.
cook carp?
Have I?
Yeah.
Very easy. The only thing about carp, it's kind of, you have to have a certain palate to eat carp, because they are a bottom feeder.
Yeah, I know, and so they have a certain, even more so than catfish.
Yeah,
like catfish are small and a little more tender.
Yes.
Yeah. So but I had a guy, I can't remember his name now. He was an agent in '83 he used to catch carp,
Mhm.
and he had a way of doing it almost over like 2 days in the oven.
Smoking it.
Yeah, smoking it or
Yes.
seasoning it in such a way so that it would get it to come out tender in the end.
Mhm.
And I had a piece of it. It was actually pretty good, but no energy or time for that, I can tell you. Like,
Well, like I said, it's not everybody's.
we got bass and pickerel and pike. Like, there's lots of other stuff before I get
to
down to
eat.
carp. Yeah,
Yes, of course. Like I said, they're the bottom feeder. They're the bottom of the barrel.
yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty cool. So, so tell me, what is the right term?
For
Black man, African American, African Canadian, dark brown chap?
well, first off, I'm not African.
No, I know that, but I can't figure out what is somebody in the States
That's
who if they're
American,
from the
but-
Barbados. Yeah,
but yeah, but that's-
what's somebody in the States who's from the Barbados
Yeah,
and someone calls them an African American? What are they?
I couldn't tell you because I don't live there.
Yeah,
We
it's crazy,
we used to use the term, if you were looking for me on the street or something like that.
Yeah.
We used to say colored people,
Okay, so that would be a
because if you look at us, we aren't black, we're not white, we're not really
yeah.
anything other than we're colored.
So colored people, like I'll tell you, when I was talking to people about this interview I was going to do today, I kept saying, well, this black guy I just met about 3 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't know a person of color, a black person. I didn't know what would you hear that would be not acceptable. And I don't mean,
No, okay.
I mean accidental. Somebody would say something accidental. I guess there's not many terms. If somebody says a black man, you know that they don't mean anything except that you're a black man.
But that's what they were taught,
Yeah, that's
to
what they
call
were
us a
taught.
black man.
Good way to put it. That's what they were
That's
taught.
right. That's what they were taught. But
Colored,
I was taught,
colored people is okay.
yes, colored people
Like
are fine.
everybody would accept that.
Well, because like I said, I'm not black,
no,
as you can see.
yeah,
That Mike's black,
yeah.
all right?
Yeah, actually, good contrast. Real,
Yeah, that Mike's black. I'm not black. I
Yeah.
got color in me. So
Yeah.
when it came down to it, we used the term colored.
Yeah,
because, like I said, my mom's from down east, St. John,
Yeah.
and that's what they use down there.
Yeah. So no, so that's a decent,
Well, if you're looking,
respectful term.
it's a respectful
That's
term
what I'm
because
asking
we
for,
all are. Even yourself, you're not white,
No.
but a
Not
lot
by
of people
any
say I'm white.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
if you look at yourself, white is like a piece of tissue paper.
Yeah, yeah.
You're nowhere near being a white tissue
No,
paper.
I'm a lot closer to being brown than I am to being white. Actually.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're actually a colored person, aren't
Yeah,
you?
pretty much.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that.
That's right, because that's the way I look at you. I don't look at you as a white person because you're not white.
No.
You're a colored person, as you should be looking at me as being
Yeah.
a colored person because I'm not black.
I don't look at you as being white or colored. I don't look at me as being white. I look at you as a person. That's how I look at it.
Well, that's the way you should be looking
Yeah,
at it, but
every-
a lot of people can't see that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's Louis C.K. talks about a benign racism, and it's something that goes on. It's where you notice the other race.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into a store, you'll notice a black person over there or a colored person over there.
Correct?
You notice it. If it was a white person over there, you wouldn't notice it.
That's right.
It's benign. It's just something that goes on in your psyche, and
Correct.
yeah. And if you don't act on it, there's nothing. Well, it's not a question of acting on it because it's subconscious. It just happens.
Well, I got a little thing I want to tell you
I don't
here.
have a
Is,
negative thing.
you know, we have these wars and all that go on.
Yeah.
Now, what happened to all of us when it came down to having wars? I mean, a lot of these wars are over color. Especially today, it's over color. Isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
All right? What happens if everybody had color in them? Would there be a war? You couldn't call me black. I couldn't call you white because
Yeah,
now
yeah.
we got the same color in us.
Yeah, yeah. Who's whiter and who's not? I guess they get in the shades, eh?
How would that work?
What's your
Because
shade?
there's so many shades in this
no, I was
world.
going to ask everybody. No, what's your shade? You know, and they,
Well,
hey,
see-
what do you mean? I'm white.
No,
a
you're not
shade.
white.
You're a shade.
You're a shade.
Yeah.
So, like, and you've been down to
We'll have
Cuba.
to start a new website called Shades Are Us. Eh?
That's right.
Yeah.
So you've been to Cuba.
Yeah.
You've seen how many different shades
Amazing.
there are.
It's beautiful.
Aren't
it's
they?
beautiful. You know what? The Cubans, there is nothing.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's no black or white thing down there, is there?
No, there is not.
It's
I know
all.
what?
It's all comes down to shades.
the togetherness that whole they have as a community, and they have their individual stuff that differences that they have and all. But if you try to, I've just noticed that even the street guys that are hustling, trying to hustle money out of you and stuff, and trying to get a deal, they just need to eat. That's what they're doing. But if you suggest even to the most negative Cuban something that would harm another Cuban,
Oh, then you got a fight on your hands.
well, they go, hey, you can't do that. Like they would take advantage of another Cuban.
Correct.
They're all in for hustling for the tourists and doing whatever they can. But as soon as you cross that line,
There's a line.
every single Cuban will stand up and go, no, you don't do that.
That's right. That's why I had mentioned this to you because, like you said, you were worldly. You've been around.
Yeah,
You've
I
seen
appreciate
all
it.
different colors of people. There's
Yeah.
basically, when you're looking at a person, there's a different shade for every. I mean, look if you look even at my children because I'm they're part white.
Yeah.
If you want to call them white.
Yeah.
And part black, if you want to call them black.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, they're a color too that are growing. When it comes to minority of people, they're growing faster than black and white.
Yeah, that's George Carlin again. He said brown
right.
people. He said that's what America's good at, bombing brown people. He said if you're brown in your country, watch out, we're gonna bomb this shit. Like he just made fun of the truth.
That's right.
It was like there and yeah, it's shades. It's shade. We'll have to get a
Like
shade,
you say,
a
you got to
shade
do
movement
you got to
going.
do something on that shade thing.
Nobody
don't you?
is black. Yeah, I'm going to be on that like a duck on a June bug. Man. Yeah, shades. That's a really good. No, there is no black or white. It's all shades.
Shades.
Right on.
That's why when you ask me about what do people call me, and would I like to be called? Call me colored,
Yeah,
because I
that's-
am colored.
So am I.
Yeah, sir,
Yeah.
you are. You are
Slightly
definitely
off-white.
colored.
I'm colored off-white.
Well, you're not even close to being white. Like I said, your
Yeah.
shirt's white.
Yeah. Well, you're right. Actually, now that you're.
You're more. If I look at you from my perspective,
Yeah.
you look more Indian,
Yeah.
Northern Indian, because if you see their skin
easily
is a
be.
lot like yours.
Yeah, could easily be. You're right.
That's right.
Yeah, and then that's. Well, thank you for pointing that out. No, you know what? It's amazing when you move it into that perspective because then we're all in the same boat. Then it's like
Like the man says, if I cut you, bleed. You cut me, I bleed. Same color.
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any blood that come out looking yellow or orange. Have you?
You're not black and you're not white. You're a shade of something.
You're a shade.
We haven't figured it out. We should send out color charts. Like the things that go like this here.
You
from
know,
one to
you know
the,
how
what
many
shade
people
are
that
you?
would confuse if you started doing that?
Yeah, we'll start with the darkest to the lightest, and we'll put them in human terms, and say, here, could you please identify your shade? We're all in this together.
Instead of like they have 2 boxes. You're white. No, they have 3 boxes. You're white, you're brown, or you're black.
Yeah.
All right. There's no box there that says you're colored.
There's no. They should, because that would just be everybody. That
No
would be
war.
all of the above, colored.
That's right.
Yeah,
no war.
all of the above, colored. I'm going to make that, the 4th box will be all of the above, colored.
Colored. That's right.
Shades are us. Yeah.
That sums everything up, doesn't
I'm on it, man. You wait. I'll design that. I'll design that post. Say all of the above.
I've
shades.
had African friends of mine that they used to call them blue blacks. They're so
black
dark
they're blue.
that they're blue almost.
Gunsteel blue.
Gunsteel blue.
Yeah.
All right, and these were the most beautiful people I've ever
Yeah.
met in my entire life.
Yeah, no,
And they showed me so much, and their beliefs are, which I should say everybody should believe in, because they've been around for centuries on top of centuries.
Yeah.
Passing the word along.
Yeah, for thousands of years.
Yes.
Yeah. There's yeah, you know what? I like that whole. I think that almost like the American thing is 400 years old, whatever it is.
Yes.
But the slavery stuff went back through France and through England, through history. But it's just, if they could just find a way to just say, okay, it all happened, but we're not there anymore. Like it's over. But they can't do it because of people.
Greed comes
And
into
it's
picture
only-
again.
Yeah,
It's
you know
all
what?
about the greed. If everybody was on an equal setting, what would you have?
It's
Think
why
about
I
it.
love Cuba so much, because
It's all on an equal setting.
they are, and that even the hustlers, they can only achieve so much before they. I watched the house get tore down that belonged to a general there in the military,
Mm-hmm.
and he just said, "I don't give a shit. I'm building myself a great big house," and he just did.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept telling him, "Don't do that." The government kept telling him, "Don't do that. Don't do that." And he said, 40 years I've been on jet. And, the next spring, there's the bulldozers taking his house down. Yeah. One thing you can say about Castro, and I did a song called Senior Castro one time, and actually the president of Cuba's actually seen it. And,
Well, I have to tell you, my father, he liked Castro.
sort of
Always did. A lot of people from Barbados like Castro. And if you were basically reading up on what has happened, when it came down to the same pandemic,
yeah.
a lot of the stuff that they received from Castro
Yeah.
to Barbados helped them out a lot.
Yeah.
They sent a lot of stuff down there. A lot of people don't realize that.
Oh, are you kidding me? I've read in their history their involvement with other countries and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, the Cubans work wonderfully with like all kinds of countries.
Mm-hmm.
Just anywhere the Americans had a stronghold, the Americans were just disgusting in all of their approaches to everything in the world ever since day one.
Well, see, the Americans didn't like Castro or anybody that was dark-skinned running a country. And trying to go into the country and run it. Now, they did it at one time, and Castro said, no, y'all got to leave now.
Yeah, Di Battista, he treated the whole island like it was his own personal plantation.
Correct.
And those were all his buddies that were the American businessmen and mafia. And,
Yeah, that's right. So they turned around and said, no, out.
Yeah, party's over.
Party's over.
Yeah.
So the next president that went in there, which is another Caucasian guy like yourself,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
what did they do? They picked up on that same shit and said, no, we can't trust Cuba. We can't trust Cuba.
Yeah.
We don't want nothing to do with Cuba other than just destroy Cuba.
That's what Diaz now, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I seen him in San Pedro when I was there. He's the one who's seen my Castro stuff and my Survivor stuff I did with all the musicians down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did 2 months, over the course of 2 months, I did 20 videos for survivors of childhood sexual abuse, adult survivors. And it was, for me, I'm just trying to help out with that issue in the Latin community because they need more help and more information in that regard. Not as much as I thought. When I first went, I thought I was going to save them all,
No, no, you can't do that.
No, well, I realized what a pompous
You're
ass.
just one person out of
Well,
millions or billions of people.
Well, it wasn't only that, but their culture is different than ours.
Yes.
In English culture, you know, you can stand on the rooftop and scream you're a survivor, and you'll get recovery that way. There's organizations you can go to. That everybody, there's groups. The Latin community, they actually have they tremendous respect for the strength of survivors that get up and move on. So there's no shame in being a survivor.
Do you know what a Cuban really is and where a Cuban came from?
Spain and like
Nope.
Congo.
That's right, Africa.
Yeah, that's why.
You look back in their history, they'll tell you.
I got
A lot of the
musician
people
buddy.
that came to that island
Yeah.
were from Africa.
Oh yeah, you go over to Trinidad, Cubans, you'll find out pretty quick.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. The buddy of mine, Russell Edward, you know Russ? He's a musician. He's pretty predominant in the city, but he comes up around here for gigs and he runs some open mics and stuff from time to time. But he's adamant.
Does he know Joe in town at
yeah,
the music store?
Yeah.
Well, I might have seen him then.
He knows Joe, but if you tell him, you know, Latin music, he almost fucking goes all wild saying, "That's African music. It comes from Africa. It's not. There's no such thing as Latin music. It's all African." Like he just doesn't want to give him any credit whatsoever. Like that's what it's for being musicians. But Cuban musicians are pretty amazing. Like,
They are.
I've
They
loved
are.
them. I love them.
I've got a couple of good friends that are Cubans that are
Yeah.
just fantastic, and they have such a heart.
Oh, big time. Like I was an orphan musician. They adopted me.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And try to do that in the States.
Well, I guess you know what. I think as far as the interview is concerned, is there anything else that you would like to say about being black, having a black family, or growing
Colored.
up in Toronto? Colored. Say it again, and I'll remember. So
Colored. Is there anything I like to say being colored?
I'm going to get colored tattooed on my right here. Colored. I'm colored.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want me to say about being colored? Well,
Anything you want to say about it, like that's the subject we came here to approach,
being colored, it's, I don't know really anything to say about it, because I've always looked at myself as I looked at you, very equal.
yeah.
I wish everybody, if it came down to color, I wish everybody would have the thought of being equal. How's that sound?
Shades. I like it. All of the above.
Mm-hmm.
Colored people.
Color people.
Yeah. Black, white, brown,
Yellow.
all of the above, other people.
Yes.
Yeah, or yellow. Like, well, you wait. I'm gonna make that post up. I'm gonna make a poster out of that
Okay.
and put it out in Latin and English.
Oh, well, thank you. I hope I can receive one.
You'll receive credit.
Thank
You'll
you.
receive, written by.
Mm-hmm.
100. Yeah, that's amazing. See, something good always comes when you're looking for it.
Well, something always comes good if you can talk about it. You don't have to preach it, but
No.
just talk about it. Discuss it.
Yeah. You ever watch those guys from the Ku Klux Klan have the meeting where people interview them?
Well,
And trying to get a regular, a totally different subject, but I just have to laugh when you hear them talking about, they're trying to be really nice because they know they're jerks, and they know that everybody's onto them, so they're trying to soften their language in such a way, but you just know.
Well, let's just put it this way. To sum it up, they're a dying breed.
That, yeah, 100%.
We even have those type of people out west. They call them the northern. Just the name. I'm trying to think of their name. But anyway, like I'm saying, they're a dying breed, and like I'm saying, one of the fastest growing are people mixing.
Yeah,
We were meant to be on this earth to mix.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was no one type of race, like you say, white or black.
And
You can
know
go
what?
back as far as Egyptian times. There was no just one type of race.
No, there's something about people. I don't know where it comes from, but where people have to find a way to say that we're better than them, or we're like they categorize things, and it doesn't even have to do with the color of the skin. It's just the way that they categorize them to get somebody into another category.
That's right.
And while instead of saying you're okay and I'm okay,
Yeah.
if you're okay and I'm different, then I must be wrong. So then I got to make you wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of that stuff. Anyway, listen, you know what? Thank you so much for taking the time. I cannot
My
tell you
pleasure.
how much I appreciate it. And I'll figure out what's the best way to edit whatever out. Like, I want to edit anything out, anything, except for if there's banter that's not needed to be there. I might not edit anything anyway because I'm really adamant against not doing that because, you know, whenever I do an interview, it's that person's format.
Well, I found you to be very truthful with what you're asking, and
Yep.
you know, like I said, we all have ignorance in us.
Yeah.
It's how you want to bring it out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But on whole, I enjoyed the interview. It was kind of cool in the gang.
Well, thanks
as I
so
call
much,
it.
Ed. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Well, you can reach and turn your thing off. Just hit the red dot.
Bye now.